Spirit Sports Consultants presents
NFL championship games. Not sure about you. We think that's the best single day of football of the year, better even than the Super Bowl. Two great matchups here. Longtime playoff rivalry, the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs, and division rivals with rookie sensation Jayden Daniels facing Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. Should be great games. I want to ask you the question of the week for this week is, what's your pick for the best championship game ever? More recently, we had two great back-to-back matchups between the Bengals and the Chiefs. They split that series. And then you want to go a little further back. Remember all those games between the Cowboys and the 49ers that started off with the infamous game, The Catch, where Joe Montana started the 49ers dynasty. So hit us up in the comments. Let us know your pick. As you might expect, the primetime game is going to be Kansas City and the Bills. We got to put Mahomes in primetime and also give him all the calls. And then in the first game, you're going to have the Commanders at the Eagles. Really looking forward to seeing what can happen in this third matchup. Obviously, these division rivals have faced twice. They split the series. The Commanders' win over the Eagles was a little questionable in the fact that Jalen Hurts did not play most of that game. He was hurt, we think, on the first drive. Kenny Pickett played the rest of the way. It was a very weird game. But when we look at what the Commanders did against the Lions, you got to give them due props. The Lions clearly were worn down. Not to take anything away from what the Commanders did. They won by 14. They had the Lions on the road. Putting up 45 points on the road is very impressive. 7 of those came from a pick-6 touchdown return. But they really, forcing 4 turnovers, again, on the road. They did similar things to the Buccaneers in the wild card round. Not 4, but they forced a key fumble there. Jared Goff with this throw here, not sure what was happening, throwing into quadruple coverage there. The Lions he didn't do that all year, led to that pick 6 that we referred to. In the other NFC Divisional matchup, the Eagles won over the Rams 28-22. Saquon Barkley ran like crazy. 3 long rushing touchdowns, I believe 2 from Barkley, 1 from Jalen Hurts. But the Eagles had to hold off the Rams in this late rally where the Rams had the ball after this unbelievable catch by Puka Nacua, and they got the ball down to, we believe, inside the 15-yard line, but could not score with no time remaining. So a very impressive effort, and a losing effort by the Rams, and a great victory for the Eagles. We love division rival matchups in the playoffs, especially this late championship game. Commanders at the Eagles. The Commanders, of course, Jayden Daniels, unbelievable rookie year. The Eagles adding Saquon has made such a difference, but then let's not overlook Vic Fangio, what he's done with that defense, and we really do believe defense is going to get it done, especially in this matchup. We look at what the Eagles have done with Saquon running it. So many long runs. Could have set the NFL rushing record for a season this year. In this game here, though, the Commanders had it within 2. Scored a touchdown there right at the end, 5 minutes left, kind of sealed the game for them. So with looking at this one, we think the Commanders have gotten a little bit better. Adding Marshawn Lattimore at cornerback should be able to take away maybe A.J. Brown or some of the key wide receivers for the Eagles. And then we want to really take a look at this injury. We're not sure how serious it is. We've got conflicting reports. We're recording this Sunday night after the games. But shoulder injury, cornerback Quinyon Mitchell, one of their best cornerbacks, could be key slowing down Jayden Daniels. So our pick for this game, we're going to look at everything. We've been high on Jayden Daniels all year. We think he's an unbelievable rookie. When we look at that, he is still a rookie. So we think we've been even higher on the Eagles all season. We think this game is going to be so close. We think the key will be ball control, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles in that rushing offense. We think also that Eagles' pass defense and the complicated looks that Vic Fangio puts out there should be able to corral Jayden Daniels and limit his effectiveness. So we think the Eagles take this one. And before we continue, if you would, just join our channel. And if you like this video or find it useful, like it and then subscribe. We provide weekly NFL picks, highlights, and sports travel. Thank you. And in the main event, we've got Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. These two teams will now have faced each other 4 times in the past 5 years in the playoffs. Great matchup. The Chiefs have had the upper hand. They've won the last 3. So we're looking to see if Josh Allen can reverse that trend. The matchup does favor the Bills a little bit. They won the regular season matchup, but as always seems to happen, that doesn't mean much going up against Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs. They turn it on for the playoffs and always seem to win in some flukish way. The 13 seconds, great effort, but how many times will that happen? And then last year, the Bills go for the field goal. Boom, hooked it. So we'll see if the Bills can change it up. But let's take a look first at how these two teams got here by winning the divisional round. The Chiefs beat the Texans 23-14 in a somewhat controversial game. For all you Texans fans out there, I'm one of you. But I look at the game a little differently than a lot of people. A lot of people on social media upset about the referee calls, and they were terrible. But the Texans truly have only themselves to blame for what they did on special teams. Unbelievable offensive game. Defensive game was great, but giving up this opening kickoff and then the penalty after that, giving the Chiefs the ball around the 10. But then look at this fact. The first time in NFL playoff history a team has outgained their opponent by 120 yards, had no turnovers, and still lost the game. But again, missing a field goal, having 2 point afters blocked, that's 5 points, and then giving up that kickoff, that was the difference. But we do want to point out a note to the NFL Competition Committee. So having said that, we do believe you should be able to challenge officials' calls. Why is that not allowed? Look at this play here. This is not roughing the passer. Look at Patrick Mahomes, throwing his head back and then looking up at his dad, the ref, to make the call for me. Please give me a bailout. And that's what they did all game long. So yes, I'm going to say it didn't cost the Texans the game. It definitely didn't help. And that's got to be corralled and corrected before this goes any further. This is getting ridiculous. Okay, I'm calm. All right, let's look at the Bills and the Ravens game. The Bills with a 27-25 victory over the Ravens, and for the second straight year, the Ravens were bit by the turnover bug, losing the turnover battle 3-0, and that is just a recipe for failure. We think the game turned on this play right here. Lamar with a bad snap, turned around, fumbled it, got taken all the way down to, we think, the Baltimore 25, set the Bills up for a touchdown. That was effectively a 10-point swing. So when we look at losing the turnover margin by 3, we did a video on that earlier this season, there is a 92% chance you will lose that game. And the Ravens did. They lost 3-0, and a couple of key plays, that drop on the 2-point conversion there right at the end. But really the turnovers, you can't overcome 3 turnovers, and they didn't. And following the trends the Bills have set all year, the statistics really don't impress you. Looking at the stats right now, Josh Allen only 127 yards passing, 20 yards rushing. James Cook 67 yards on the ground. Not that great, but they just make the key plays when they have to, and we think that might be enough going up against Kansas City if, stop me if you've heard this before, if they get a fair shake without help from the men in black and white. Looking at Josh Allen, we did a viewer poll about the MVP, and the majority of voters voted for Josh Allen. If you look at the stats, Lamar Jackson's are far better, but Josh Allen has had less to work with. You got to take that into consideration. We think it almost should be a co-MVP with Lamar and Josh sharing the honor if that's possible. Kansas City Chiefs. If you watched our NFL preview video way back in August, we were right on 2 calls relating to the championship games. We had the Chiefs doing even better than they did last year. Turns out they did exactly that, and we saw the Commanders as challenging for the playoffs. We did not think they would do as well as they have. But with Mahomes in that group, it's one of those teams that, if you're not a Chiefs fan, you're frustrated, they're always there. They won't go away. But at the same time, we respect the coaching and respect what Mahomes does. For this game, if the Bills can win, we believe if they can shut down Travis Kelce, that's the key. The one thing the Texans didn't do, for all those fans complaining about the officials, they couldn't stop Kelce. That's the best receiving option for the Chiefs. Shut him down somehow, double him, whatever, run a zone where there's always one spy on Kelce. But if you can limit Kelce in this game, the Bills have a definite chance. We would love to have a different prediction here, but we can't ignore patterns. There's definitely a pattern with Kansas City and Buffalo in the playoffs. We think the Chiefs are the overall better team, and they're very even, but ultimately home field does make a difference, and we think the Chiefs win this one 28-24 to again proceed and go for their three-peat.
That's all for this time. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe to our channel, and we look forward to sharing our future videos with you.